Hello, and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast where we tell each other stories like fairy tales and folk tales and mythology and whatever the hell else we're reading that day.
This podcast isn't for kids.
Nope, sure is not, even though we're telling fairy tales.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of swearing.
Yeah, and also you're here to hear it.
And also you are here.
Yeah.
You put in a hell real early, so
Hell is the one, I don't know. Half the kids say hell. They're like, what the hell, Miss Rabadoo? I'm like, don't say that. And they're like, hell. No, don't say that.
Yeah.
It's the least offensive one they can, though. They drop in a hell, they drop in a damn. Every once in a while, both of those things come up, and I'm like, hey. No.
I honestly think we should take hell, damn, and shit out of the...
I don't agree with shit, but I do agree with hell. I'm on the fence about damn.
I agree with hell. Janey Rabadoo.
Honestly, I do agree with hell. Fucking, you say there's a special place just for me? Fucking prove it, my dude.
You say you're gonna see me there? I can't wait.
I've got main character friend energy. Give me my special place and come visit me whenever you like, bud.
And I get a handbasket that I can fit in.
And the road there is paved with good intentions? This fucking sounds rad. Oh, I wonder if we lost anybody. Do you think we have, like, evangelical Christians listening who are like, where am I?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. If you're an evangelical Christian and you're mad at me, send us a text.
I guess.
If it's funny, I'll put it on our stories.
Also, though, you shouldn't be mad, because if we go to hell, there's more heaven for you.
Honestly.
So you're really winning in this scenario.
For the rest of you.
Yeah, I'm going to hell and I'm going to... I can fix him.
Oh no, Max wants to fuck the devil.
No. I'm going to go to hell and make it nice.
I feel like it already kind of is, because half the people say are going to hell are my kind of people. I feel like already it's filled with, like, crocheted plushies and, like, warm, comfy blankets.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know.
I feel like there should be two hells. There should be hell for, like, if you did premarital sex and drugs or whatever.
If you were awesome.
Yeah, if you were cool.
If you were fucking rad, you go to the fun hell.
And then there should be bad hell.
Oh yeah,
which is for, like,
Hitlers
racists
and people who wear who don't wear shoes or socks on airplanes.
Ugh.
Yeah. You monsters.
You monsters.
You're in there with a bunch of Hitlers.
Okay, 3 hells.
Uh-oh.
Good hell for cool people. Bad hell for people who do actual evil shit.
Yeah.
Hurting animals,
the
stuff
Ted
like that.
Bundys of the world.
Yeah. And then 3rd hell, which is just boring hell, where everyone who is inconsiderate and shitty goes. And
but they don't go there
time.
Permanently. They go there, they are faced with the errors of their ways, they have to apologize, and then they get out.
Yes.
They get to come to...
Like a purgatory.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want them in my hell.
Well, if they...
My hell apparently does have exclusions. If you didn't wear socks on an airplane, you're not allowed in my hell.
Until you've done your penance.
We are kind of treating this like a bonus episode. We're in the middle of a podcast. Hi, guys.
Hello. Welcome to our hell.
Our hell. All are welcome. Whoa. Get back on track, Max. What if they want to give us money? What do they do?
First of all, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for the money.
If you want more of this, if you're like bonus episodes, tell me more. We will. Right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you kind of passed it to me and then you took it back.
I
wasn't
did.
sure if you were...
I realized there was no segue to that, so I added a segue.
No, I could have gotten there though.
Okay.
You gotta trust your partner, you know?
Okay.
I could have made it.
All right.
Well, if you want to give us money and you want bonus content from us, you can do both at the same time by clicking the link to our Patreon.
Woo!
For $3 a month, you can get access to our Discord, which gives you direct access to us. You can send us weird messages if you want.
Direct, even.
Directly.
I've got a direction. It's to the Patreon.
You can also talk to all the other people who want to have direct access to us to send us weird messages, and a lot of them are really cool. And that's a really fun place to hang out. Here's something.
Yeah.
We have a memes channel,
Ooh.
and I was bombing it every day for like a year, and then the screenshot app on my phone stopped playing nicely with the Instagram app on my phone, so now every time I can take a screenshot, my feed reloads if I try to edit the screenshot. But if I don't edit the screenshot, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and crop like 3 weeks worth of screenshots, and I'm going to drop those in the meme channel soon.
Oh.
Could be good.
Max has these epic meme dumps where you will be on the phone for 10 minutes scrolling through every meme she's seen for the last 24 hours.
And that's only 24 hours,
Yeah.
and this is 3 weeks. So if you're bored, $3 gets you probably a decent 6 hours of looking at all of the memes that I've saved in the past 3 weeks.
You're getting an insight into Max's soul with those
Welcome
memes.
to my hell.
All are welcome.
My own custom personal hell. All are welcome. Take off your shoes at the entrance.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to, in which case, live your life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad about it. We have a vacuum cleaner. So that's for $3 a month. For $7 a month, you can get access to the Discord as previously described. And you can also get a full-length bonus episode every single month. You also get access to the back catalog of bonus episodes, and there are quite a few in there. So if you're interested in that, click on the link to our Patreon. It's in the show notes for this episode and every episode, or you can find it on our website, sortofthestory.com. Email us, sortofthestory@gmail.com, or find us on our socials at sortofthestory on Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Facebook. And that's all this stuff.
That's it. You did a great job.
Thanks. See, you just have to trust me.
And I trusted you would say it correctly. I didn't add a segue. I wanted
You
a
never
segue.
had a segue.
Yeah, but I really feel like I should. Every time I'm
Why
disappointed
change
by
now?
it.
Now that I'm practiced and ready?
Well, guys, the last thing I want to say is that if you have a moment, go rate and review us in Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find us, and it's just good for us all around. If you got nothing nice to say, then don't put it on a review. Send it to me directly.
Yeah, say it to our face at sortofthestory@gmail.com.
Fucking say it to our face.
Or give us $3 and say it in the Discord.
Yeah, or text us, and I'll put it on our stories.
Yeah, and also tell your friends if you want. If you think they would like it, go for it. Whatever.
So many of you who we talk to every day now in the Discord are only here because your friends made you listen to us, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's
You don't
good for
even
me.
listen to us. A lot of you don't listen to us. You just hang out with us in a Discord. That's something that I like a lot.
Yeah, it's really good. We're all just friends.
Yeah, we are all just friends. So even if you don't listen to the rest of this episode and you're like, this intro made me want to be friends with them, you're welcome.
You know, you're welcome.
You're fucking welcome. You can hang out with me in my hell. Okay, well, Max,
Janey,
with all of that, do you want to jump in? You know, you're telling me a story first.
I didn't know that, but I was prepared for the eventuality. The numbering in my notes is all messed up, but I'm ready for that.
Okay, well then I'm excited to hear a story.
Well, great.
Okay.
You're gonna.
Then I'm going to take a very brief break. It's like 1 second long. Don't be scared because we will be back. So, bye.
Okay, Janabeth.
Okay, Maxifer.
The story that I have for you today comes from Spooky South, retold by S.E. Schlosser.
Ooh.
We've told some of her stories before. She is a folklorist. She is incredible. She has a really great way of turning folklore into like narrative short stories, and they're all delightful. She's also the person who runs AmericanFolklore.net, I believe, which is an amazing resource that has lots of free folktales on it. Primarily, she produces the Spooky series, which is apparently only 30 books. I really thought there were more.
Yeah.
But it's 30 books of regional specific spooky stories from primarily around the United States. And they are incredible. They're also fairly kid-friendly, so if your kid likes scary stories, I highly recommend the series. They're also really good for if you like just a short little spooky story. They're all very tightly written and very entertaining. Literally have never opened up a spooky book and not found a winner immediately. So
That's 100% true. I'm looking at, what's it called? The cover illustration, because it is truly gorgeous. It looks like block print, which I really think it is. It's illustrated by Paul G. Hoffman, and it's gorgeous. It's like this dark burgundy red and black. It's a cemetery. There are shadows. Everything's long and cool. I'm obsessed with this. This is gorgeous. And also it's like velvety to hold. Good
it's one
book.
of those like matte touch paperback covers.
I could say without having read it, you should get this book. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
My only criticism of any of the spooky books is that S.E. Schlosser has a very comprehensive set of references in the back of every book. She does not always credit specific stories to specific sources, and a lot of that is because she is narrativizing the stories and making them in like retelling them, not just reproducing them. So she doesn't necessarily say where she got the individual stories from, which makes it a little bit hard to actually see where her sources are.
That really bothers me when I read stuff now.
It bothers me also, but I do get it, especially in her case, because her stories are technically like original in their reproduction. She's not copying and pasting them from like a publicly available manuscript or anything like that. She is fully retelling the stories. I still wish that she would give the source, but
in the spirit of ethical folklorism, though, if you are completely rewriting the tale, then it is even more important to credibly source it. You know, like, it genuinely, that makes it actually more egregious that she's not giving where she got it from, because it's impossible to track it then. You know, and if she actually is kind of profiting from a lot of times other cultures' stories, she should at least.
Yeah, I agree. That's, like I said, that's my one criticism.
Yeah.
But it also, we've seen that a lot, so it's not like it's the craziest or worst thing in the entire world. It just,
absolutely
wish it was
not.
different.
I still love all her tales.
Exactly.
They're very spooky and very fun.
Yes. The story that I'm going to tell you today comes from Alliganey County, Maryland. Arguably not the South.
Do you think Alliganey is me and an alligator if we got married?
Janey Alliganey.
Alligator and Janey sitting in a tree.
Alliganey
Now they are
Janey.
Alliganey.
Oh my God, your Old West outlaw name would be Alliganey Janey.
No, it's Alligator Janey. She's over here to be precocious and make you feel bad.
Oh.
Does she have a gun? No, but she spits bullets out that mouth of hers.
Ew.
And I'm like, that's me.
And it just kind of falls out of your mouth. You're not very good at spitting, but you do have a lot of bullets in your mouth.
I've been eating so many bullets for this moment. Also, she's mean.
Every morning she wakes up and she has a bowl full of bullets without any milk.
That's why she rattles when she walks.
Like a pocket of loose change.
She can't go to the airport no more.
She sounds like those like magnetic snake egg things that you would get for selling magazines in middle school, where when you like throw them up in the air and they rattle together, they make that horrible sound. That's what it sounds like when she does her little dance.
Yeah.
Her little Alliganey Janey dance.
So is she an outlaw? No.
I mean, she's not allowed here.
She's kind of just some lady.
But that's just because we don't want her here.
She's truly the weirdest of us.
We hate that sound that she makes.
Yeah.
Sets our teeth on edge.
Also, we're all out of bullets.
She ate all the bullets. Which on the one hand, there's been no murder in our town in a year. But on the other hand, our bullets.
Those are our bullets. You see me rustling through their trash like a little raccoon, stuffing old bullets in my mouth.
Why are they throwing out the bullets?
They're old.
Oh, okay.
That's embarrassing.
They're expired.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, and there was that. Good story, Max.
Thank you so much. So this story is from Alliganey County, Maryland, arguably not the South. I'm not going to go into it, though, because it is a story that involves the South. This story is called The Widow Jinks. Jinks, not Jinx.
Okay.
This story is told in first person by a man who has recently been discharged from the Union Army after the Civil War in the United States. He is back home at his mother's house for one night, and he's just finally sort of getting settled and getting used to living his normal life. And then on the second night, he wakes up and there's a fucking ghost in his bed.
Fucking every time.
I'm like...
In his bed?
Yeah, or like sitting on his bed.
All right.
And it's this like pale bluish white specter of a man, and he wakes up and he sees this figure at the foot of his bed, and he's like, oh my God, who are you?
Fair.
And the ghost explains that he is the ghost of a man named William Jinks, who the narrator had shot in the Battle of Bull Run. And the narrator is like, okay, well, I shot a lot of rebels at Bull Run, like at least a handful.
Not to brag.
So I'm not sure I remember you. And Jinx is like, no, you remember me. And Wilkins looks closer and he realizes that he does remember him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, were you the one who was like behind that log and you kept ducking out of the way? And Jinx is like, yeah, that was me. And he's like, I really thought I didn't get you. And he's like, well, I'm a ghost, so you got me.
I don't know why we're sitting here arguing about this.
Yeah, you got me. Here I am, the specter of William Jinks, at the end of your bed because you didn't shoot me. Come on, man.
Fucking treating me like an asshole. You know, I'm here as my unfinished business, but no, make it about you and how you didn't
for
shoot
sure.
me.
No, what do you want me to say? Ooh, you're so good at shooting. You fully shot me. Wow, good job. No, I'm fucking dead, and it's your fault. It's not what I'm here for.
I just to play devil's advocate, what if somebody else shot you? This isn't here for a debate. I feel like I would know.
I feel like I would know.
Yeah.
So Jinx explains that he was killed by the narrator Wilkins at the Battle of Bull Run. And narrator's like, I wasn't sure that I got you. And Jinx says, you sure did, seeing as I've been a ghost ever since that day. I'm here to demand reparation for being murdered by you that day recently. You remember, you were there.
I feel like this is a Confederate soldier.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get reparations. None for you. Story's over. Now on to mine.
Shouldn't have been pro-slavery, actually.
Shouldn't have been pro-slavery. You get no reparations. But I can think of a couple people who should get reparations. It ain't you, Jinx. Get a better name.
So Jinx tells Wilkins that he needs Wilkins to go and find Jinx's widow, the widow Mrs. Jinx, from the title of the story, the widow Jinx.
Okay.
He needs Wilkins to go find his widow up in Maryland and tell her that Jinx has been looking over her and has seen underneath their house there is a massive coal field. And he knows that his wife is not going to do well financially without him. And he's like, tell her that the coal field is there and she'll be set for life. And then I can rest and I'll stop haunting you.
Maryland? Were they weren't in the Confederacy?
No.
He chose. Your widow gets nothing. No coal for you.
Wilkins says, how do you know that there's a coal field under her house? Like, how did you find that out? And Jinx is like, well, I went back there and
I clawed my way up from hell through the coal field.
Yeah. And he's like, and I saw it. He says, it is my province to know things denied to you mortals. And it's like, okay.
Well, you're fucking dead.
You're like 3 days old in being dead. You mortals. Okay. So the narrator thinks about this and he is like, okay, Maryland, that's like 10 days ride. It would be pretty expensive to get there. But if there's a coal field, like maybe she'll be grateful and will like give me a little bit of money for telling her
who
something.
Murdered her husband. I don't know. But he's like, it's a profitable opportunity and everything. So he thinks about it and he's like, okay, I will do this for you. You deserve it. I did murder you, I guess. It's
so I
not
guess
murder.
Now I have to do a quest about it or whatever.
I gotta go do a quest about it. Sorry, Mom.
And he's like, okay, so I'll do it. Do you have any other messages that you want me to bring to your widow? Like, honey, I love you. I always did. I'm sorry for whatever. Like, I'll be waiting for you. Anything like that. And
you got chlamydia. My bad.
The old colon clam.
It's not a colon clam. What?
The old clam and coal.
Oh, coal.
Mm-hmm.
Coal. I thought you were saying she has the colon clam, and I was like, what do you think chlamydia is?
Something horrible.
The way you think it is much worse than what it is. It's pretty bad.
She's got booty bivalves.
That's a catastrophe.
Took his shellfish. Can I keep telling the story? Do you mind?
No, because my brain is screaming ass shrimp. I don't think I can move on from it.
Asters, like oysters.
Oh, gross. Guys, do your own research. But that's not what chlamydia is.
That's for each man to choose on his own.
You don't get to choose.
So he's like, do you want me to tell your widow anything? And Jinx says, no, you can't tell her. And you also can't tell her that I told you this. Mm-hmm. Because if you tell her that I told you this as a ghost, then she'll know that you killed me, because only the person who killed someone can see the ghost. Apparently, that's the rules.
All right. The widow Jinx knows the rules.
Apparently. And he's like, so if you tell her that my ghost told you that, then she'll know that you killed me. And she didn't like me that much, but she is a very prideful woman and she definitely would kill you.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Makes me like her. Knowing that she didn't like him that much makes me think that she was probably like, you're joining the Confederacy? Come on, dude. She's from Maryland. I like her.
Land of the crabs. And the clams.
That's true about the crabs.
And Jinx says, I thought lots of her, and she just worshipped me.
Uh-oh.
Even when we didn't agree. And Wilkins is like, what didn't you agree about? And Jinx is like, well, Melinda's a very industrious woman and a hard worker, and she just didn't understand that I was born tired. And I've never felt something so hard in my life. He's the bad guy in this story. He's definitely like a Confederate soldier who wasn't very nice to his wife, but also he was like, she just doesn't understand that I was born tired.
Hello? I'm sleepy.
I have been so tired every moment of my entire life. So he's like, Melinda's a hard worker. I wasn't. I was, a bit of a layabout.
I was lazy, and that's why I wanted slaves, probably. And she was probably like, she was probably not industrious. She was probably like, this isn't a slave state, and no, you can't have slaves here.
William.
What do you mean? And he's like, she's so industrious. She doesn't understand that I didn't have to do my own work.
That is exactly what he's saying. And then Jinx thinks about it for a second, and he's like, now that I'm dead, I don't have to do, like, chores or talk to people or go out or errands or work in the yard. So actually, you might have done me kind of a blessing by murdering me at the Battle of Bull Run.
Jinx is somehow Gen Z. This is just Gen Z being like, kill me. Do it.
Please, the sweet release of death, please.
How is he simultaneously
finally, we can die.
a Confederate soldier and also somehow a TikTok teen that's just like, end it all.
End my suffering. And then
they're
dabs. Flossing. Yeah.
Max is flossing. But she looks
William
mad about
Jinks, Confederate soldier who is a ghost, just flossing in this man's bedroom.
No.
He's like, I'm just a sweepy little girl.
Hello, I'm Eepy. That's him flossing. Furiously. William Jinks, not allowed in my side of hell, just so you know.
No, he goes to bad hell for sure.
Yeah, he goes to bad hell.
At the very least, shitty hell. But probably bad hell.
He lived in Maryland. I don't know if he actually owned slaves, but he certainly did choose the wrong side of the war.
100%. So, Jinx says, you tell my wife about the coal field, and then I will stop hunting you as soon as Melinda, my wife, my widow, knows about the coal. Wilkins is like, all right, I'll do it. Wilkins has already gotten a job since returning home from the war selling washing machines, patent washing machines, which I didn't know that they had. I meant to Google that, but I didn't. It's probably just like a tub that like you can turn a crank instead of,
in the Beauty and the Beast movie with Emma Watson?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
She has a washing machine that she walks around like a well, kind of, to do it. So, like, I'm sure there was stuff like that back then.
Like a mechanical washing machine that is a lot easier than hand washing for sure.
Yeah.
But he is back from the war for 2 days and he already has a job.
It's a bunch of clean rocks in a bucket. The bucket has a top and you just have to shake it a bunch.
So he has a job selling these patent washing machines door to door. And fortunately, his bosses don't really care where he does it. So he tells them, he's like, I'm going to go down to Maryland and sell these washing machines. And they're like, okay, great, have fun.
Yeah.
He starts traveling down to Maryland. He thinks it'll take about 10 days to get there. And on his route, he meets people and he asks for board in their house. And a lot of times he'll like do a load of wash for them, and then a lot of times they'll end up buying a washing machine because it works really well. So like he's making money there, like getting a convenience, he gets a place to stay for the night and everything. It's working out really well. And also a lot of these people in like sort of the further back country areas are like really excited to talk about washing clothes with someone who is a washing clothes professional ostensibly. So a lot of it is like him like trading tips with them about how to get stains out and stuff like that. So he learns a lot about washing very quickly, which is kind of a cool, weird little detail, but it's like he now knows how to get rid of every single stain. Good for you.
That's a good for you.
You know what?
His name is Binks? What's his name? Wilkins. Jinks and Binks.
He sort of plans that when he gets to this town in Maryland that Jinx has given him directions to, he's going to go to the widow Jinx and he's going to ask if he can stay at her house while he sells washing machines in town. And then while he's there, like, maybe he'll offer to help her with some laundry, and then, like, they'll get to talking, and he's like, and then she'll trust me, and then I can tell her about the coal, and she'll believe me and not just kick me out for being a psycho. Mm-hmm. So finally, after 10 days trek, he gets to this little old farmhouse exactly where Mr. Jinx told him it would be. He knocks on the door, and a woman answers the door, and she's older, and he tries not to be disappointed. She's like,
he wanted to hook up.
Yeah, she's like an older woman, and he's like, well, I guess I maybe should have expected that. She answers the door, and he's like, hello, Mrs. Jinx. Is this your home? And she's like, oh, I'm not Mrs. Jinx. And he's like, okay.
God, I can still smash.
I can still smash. She says, my name's Mrs. Freeland. I live down the road, but I've come to live with the widow Jinx since her good-for-nothing husband passed away to help her around the house, because someone should, especially now that her husband, who never did anything anyways, isn't around. It's like, damn, Mrs. Freeland.
Good for her.
She opened the door with hot tea. She was like, whoever this is, I'm going to tell him that the man of this house was a son of a bitch.
I cannot wait to see. Oh, hopefully it's a new person who hasn't heard about what a son of a bitch he is.
And he's like, oh, well, I was actually here to talk to Mrs. Jinx. Mm-hmm. I knew her husband in the war, and I have a message for her. And Mrs. Friedland is like, oh, well, please come in and sit down. She's out in town doing errands, but she should be back in a little bit. Mm-hmm. So he comes in, he sits down in the house. It's very, like, sparsely furnished and everything. And, like, everything's kind of threadbare. It's clear that they are not wealthy people, but it's very clean. Like, she has clearly been taking really good care of this house.
All the linens for the whole time stain-free. Pristine.
And he's like, dang, my inn. But he goes into the house, he sits down, and he talks to Mrs. Friedland while they wait for Mrs. Jinx to come home. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Friedland immediately goes off on how Mrs. Jinx is so much better off without Mr. Jinx, because he is the most shiftless and lazy man who ever lived. She's like, this woman has been taking care of everything in this house since the day she was married.
Yeah.
Nothing changed when her husband left. If anything, her house is cleaner now because there's not a man in here making a mess that she has to clean up after.
Yeah, complaining about being tired.
Oh, he's so tired.
Oh,
I don't care, William. So after a little bit of this where he's like, shit, that guy sucked, apparently. I'm kind of glad that I shot him.
Yeah, sounds like I did everyone a fucking favor, including him, weirdly.
Including him. But finally, the widow Jinx arrives. Mm-hmm. And she comes in through the front door, and she is very, very beautiful.
Good.
She has dark hair and dark eyes, and he says that she has a resolute chin. And he looks at her, and he's like, oh, that man did not get a minute's peace if he was being lazy. He, like, immediately, like, is like, oh, she would be so shitty to you if you were lazy.
Yeah.
And he loves that. He's like...
Yeah, she's not going to take any shit.
Yeah, and he, like, instantly is kind of like, okay, yeah, she's good. I like her.
Good.
And she comes in, and Mrs. Friedland introduces Wilkins to her, and she's, you know, very polite. She welcomes him into the home, and he says, I have a message from your husband. We were together in the war, and he told me that if something were to happen to him, he wanted me to tell you that he loved you very, very much. Which he didn't say to tell her.
No, and she's probably like, I call bullshit.
She's very polite, and she's like, oh, well, that's very kind of you to come all this way just to tell me that. And he's like, yeah, I mean, it was, you know, it was kind of like his dying wish, so I felt like I had to. And she's like, well, you're a very good person for coming all this way. Do you need a place to stay for the night? And he's like, yes, actually. I am on my way up here. I was also selling patent washing machines, and I was hoping to find a place to stay in town, and I was wondering if you would be willing to board me. I'd of course be happy to pay for the room and everything. And she looks at Mrs. Friedland, and Mrs. Friedland looks at her, and they're like, yeah, you can do that. And it's very clear that, like, they are very short on money, and they don't want to be, like, overeager, but they're like, yeah, it would be really good actually to have it. I think the thought is, like, they're like, it would be really good to have some money coming in and also have a man in the house who is a soldier.
Yeah.
Probably a lot
protection.
Like, safer. And so she accepts him as a boarder in her house. Mm-hmm. They sort of chat over dinner, and he sets himself up on a little cot in the back. And on his first night, he has just fallen asleep when he wakes to a mysterious blue-white glow, and he sees William Jinks standing over his bed. And he's like, what the... God damn it. I've been on the road for 10 days. Can I get some sleep, please?
Yeah.
God. And Jinx is like, well, what did you tell her yet? And Wilkins is like, no, I didn't tell her yet. I just got here. And he's like, well, what are you waiting for? And he's like, if I walk in and tell her that her house is on a coal field, she's going to think I'm insane. She'll kick me out. And then she won't even look to see if there's a coal field. So if you want me to do the thing that you wanted me to do, you got to let me take a little bit of time and get her to trust me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she's going to think that I'm like scamming her or something. And William Jinks kind of acknowledges the truth in this. He says, Melinda is no pushover. Still, you should hurry up as fast as you can. Melinda hates to have a man bothering around the place. And then he disappears. And Wilkins is like, yeah, I bet she hates having you hanging out because you suck.
Melinda doesn't hate that, actually.
No, she actually just hates when you are being lazy
But
while
Melinda
she's doing all of the
said
work.
that she hates giving blowjobs. All right.
Whoa.
Melinda said a lot of things to you.
But he wakes up the next morning and he goes about his business. He starts walking around town, meeting the people, selling the washing machines. He makes a bunch of sales. Like, people are very friendly, and especially once they know that he knows Mrs. Jinks,
yeah.
you know, they're very willing to listen to him. And the product that he's selling is really good. It basically sells itself. And so he's able to make a bunch of sales really quickly in this town. Mm-hmm. He only takes a couple of hours a day to do the sales. And then he comes back to the widow Jinks's house and he helps her around the house, because it says, like, his mom told him that if you're going to be someplace, you better be there useful.
Oh.
And so he's like helping out. He notices that, like, the fence is broken, and so he fixes the fence. Mm-hmm. There's like a leak in the ceiling, and he fixes it, like, because he notices it's raining.
Is it Holes, the guy that's like, I can fix that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. It's good.
Yeah.
And now I'm imagining Patricia Arquette as Mrs. Jinks.
Go for it. Follow your heart.
Fucking doing it.
This story does sort of casually take a little bit of a genre turn for a little bit here. So he's just like, while he's around the house, he's like helping them with stuff around the house. Like, mm-hmm. he'll hang out with them if they're doing work, and he'll help them with the work. He chops wood for the fireplace because they can't, basically.
Yeah.
There's just like a huge wet pile of firewood outside that he like gets to chopping and putting under cover and everything so that they can have something for the winter. Mm. He builds them a little shed.
There's nothing hotter than a man chopping wood. It's pretty good. Max liked the shed.
I mean, chopping wood is one thing. That feels like you could just be doing that for you. But, like, building someone a shed is like, I see that you have a need, and I would like to satisfy it.
I like holes.
That's like a project. That's like you gotta have, like, planning skills to do that. It's not just like, oh, there's an axe and some wood nearby. I'm gonna chop that, and I'll be really hot while I'm doing it. It's like, no, I'm gonna make a plan, execute it, and then your life will be better as a result. That's like forethought, follow through. Anyways. And then at night, you know, they all have dinner together and they sit around the fire. Sometimes they sit outside on the porch on warm nights. And he tells them stories, like lighthearted stories that the soldiers had told him when they were camped together and stuff like that. And they tell him stories about the area around there. Mrs. Friedland and Mrs. Jinks and him all sit around. And he has a great time, honestly. Like, this is kind of maybe the happiest he's ever been, where he just, like, he goes out and he sells his washing machines, then he comes back and he helps around the house, and then he hangs out with Mrs. Friedland and Mrs. Jinks all night until they have to go to bed, and then he wakes up in the morning and does it again. He's like, I'm very happy. And before he knows it, a month has passed, and he has completely forgotten about the coal field. He is just having a great time. He wakes up in the middle of the night after being there for a month.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
He's not carrying washing machines around with him. So he's selling a bunch of washing machines on the go, collecting the money, and then what?
I imagine he has a demo, and then they order the washing machine, he sends orders back, and then they ship them up, or something like that.
Okay. I was like, he's just staying here? I guess he's not the delivery man. I was just imagining him being like, and you have a washing machine now. Goodbye.
Here's your washing machine.
He didn't bring all those washing machines with him.
He's not Amazon Prime.
It makes sense that he would have to ship them through Amazon Prime, and he's not Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Okay.
So after a month, he wakes in the middle of the night to a specter at the end of his cot of a very upset William Jinks. And he's like, have you told her yet?
He's like, I've been too busy making a shed shirtless in the hot sun. What do you
William.
mean? William, you think that these pecs are going to bounce themselves?
They do.
Watch this,
It'd be
William.
weird if I had to do it with my hands.
I need her help.
So Jinx appears and he's like, what is the meaning of this delay? And he is furious at this point. Apparently, as a ghost, you still have a concept of time. And he's like, it's been a month. Mm-hmm. Blue sparks are like flying off from around him. And for the first time, Wilkins wonders if the ghost of Mr. Jinx is capable of hurting him. Mm. Wilkins says, I'm going to tell her tomorrow. I forgot. Now I remembered. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to tell her tomorrow and we're good. Mm-hmm. And Jinx is like, see that you do, or I'm going to run you out of my house. And Wilkins is like, okay, first of all, you're a ghost. So I don't think you're going to do that. Second of all, if you do that, she's not going to find out about the coal field. So not a great idea for you.
Yeah.
So I would love to see it, actually. Try and run me out.
Woo! Woo!
That's the implication. What he literally says is hogwash. But the implication is he's like daring him. He's like, fucking try.
Yeah.
You know? Also, your wife loves me.
Also, these pecs aren't going to pass themselves.
So William Jinks disappears and Wilkins goes back to sleep. The next evening, true to his word, he goes out after a day's work. He finds the widow Jinks sitting on the porch by herself. It's just starting to get dark. And he steels himself for the conversation. He goes out and he sits down on the porch steps next to her. This is where there's a really hard genre turn into romance novel.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
Everyone settle in for a little bit. I'm going to be doing a lot of...
Shut up. We're listening now.
Yeah.
We weren't before.
I'm going to read a lot of quotes just directly from the story because S.E. Schlosser does a great job of telling it. And if I tried to retell it using different words, it would be worse. It's just, she did a really good job. So I'm just going to read basically direct from the story. She's sitting on like a rocking chair on the porch and he sits down on the steps up to the porch, like right next to her feet and sort of leans back and he looks up into the night sky and he says, I've been wishing to tell you something. Hang on.
No, do his voice. I've been
Ew.
to tell you something.
No, I just had a frog in my throat. He says, I've been wishing to tell you something. I've made a discovery working around your place, and it's something I can tell only to you. And she like leans forward, and he sees like her eyes sparkling in the moonlight, and she's like,
is the discovery that I'm pretty?
What is it? And he's like, Melinda, I think there's a coal field under your property. And she's like, what?
Is that a euphemism?
And he says, I have been working around your property for a little while now, and I think that there's coal under your land. He's like, your husband told me when we were together in the war that he thought there might be, and I didn't want to tell you unless I was sure because I didn't want to get your hopes up. But I think that there's coal under your land, and enough that you could be a very wealthy woman for the rest of your life. You could be set for life if you were to take advantage of this. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay. And he's like, listen, I know that it takes a lot of money to like figure out whether a coal field is profitable. Mm-hmm. I have money saved up. If you let me, I will invest. I will bankroll it so I can have the people come in and investigate and see if this coal field is viable. If it's not, you don't have to pay me back. If it is, I would love a share, but that's totally up to you. I want to help you do this. Mm-hmm. And if it's a waste of your time, I am very sorry. You don't have to pay me back. And she sort of like leans back in her chair and then she stands up and she's like, well, I'm going to have to take some time and think about it. Thank you so much for letting me know. And she starts going back into the house.
Uh-oh.
And he like feels as though a cold wall has gone up between them. And almost without thinking, he reaches out and he catches her hand.
Oh, hell yeah.
And he says, I've discovered something else. And she stops and looks down at him, waiting for him to continue. And he says, but I'm afraid to tell you. I've discovered that you're the only woman in the world for me. And she like looks at him and her eyes soften. And he says, but how can I ask you to marry me when you will be rich and I am just a poor soldier who sells washing machines and makes you a shed and does all the laundry?
Walks around shirtless in the hot, hot sun.
How could I even? It would be too bold to ask.
I'm 6'3", by the way.
What? And then the line is, Melinda's eyes told me what she thought of that nonsense.
She's like, I think you're 5'10".
No. She smiled, and I knelt on the top step and took her in my arms. Mm-hmm. He asks, will you have me? And she says, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. He says, we don't have to do anything about the coal field, even.
And Jinx is like, the fuck you say?
No, sorry, hang on. She smiles, and he's like, will you have me? And she's like, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. And then they share a beautiful, deep, intimate kiss under the Maryland stars. Mm-hmm. And then he says, and actually, I mean, we don't even have to do anything about the coal. Like, I don't want you to worry that this is about the coal or anything. I'm here for you. Mm-hmm. So, if you don't want to deal with it, we don't have to. We can go somewhere else. Like, I will take you home. You can meet my family. Mm-hmm. If you like them and you still want to do this, then we can move wherever you want. We can get rid of this land. Whatever you want to do is fine. I don't care about the coal, to be clear. And I can make a good living selling the washing machines. Like, we don't need the coal field. I'll provide for you. And she says, it would be foolish not to take advantage of what we have. Mm-hmm. Plus, we can take the money and it'll be something that we can have for our children and for our grandchildren.
Yeah.
And he says, and Mrs. Friedland can come and live with us.
Aww.
She'll like having children underfoot. We'll build a new house in town and you can meet my family and then we'll figure out what we want to do at the coal field later, but I just want to be with you. Mm-hmm. And she agrees and they kiss again. And he says, I feel like Mr. Jinks can rest now that you know about the coal. And he says it like a little bit
loud.
I just really feel like Mr. Jinks's soul can rest now.
Could be elsewhere.
And she kind of snorts and she says, Mr. Jinks was always very good at resting.
Woo!
You, on the other hand, are very good at working, which is why I will have you or none.
You seem like the type of person that'll be up all night.
This declaration earned her a third kiss.
Aww.
So they decide to wed. Very romantic.
Yeah. Kiss, kiss, smooch, smooch.
They fuck on the porch, probably.
Oh, yeah.
That night, Wilkins goes to bed, and he lies awake, waiting for Jinks to show up, right? And finally, William Jinks appears, and he's like, so did you tell her? And Wilkins is like, yes, I did. She is very happy, so we're good.
Bye.
And Jinks is like, oh, well, that's good. He says, I'm obliged to you for your trouble, though, frankly, I don't see how you could have done much less. We basically just came here and told her something. Like, a letter could have done the same, so I'm not, like, thanking you that much. Still, a promise is a promise. I'll stop haunting you now. You're free to go back north. And Wilkins is like, sure, yeah. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. And Jinx says, oh, me? I'm just going to hang out here. My old lady, I'm sure she's going to get lonely. So I'll just hang around the house and, I'm sure that she won't know that I'm here, but there's not going to be anyone else around here. So probably just having like my spirit here will be like some comfort to her. And plus, like, it's my house and I deserve to be here anyways. And speaking of, it is my house. So our business is done. And not to be rude, but like, when did you say you were leaving again? And Wilkins is like, okay, so I just traveled for 10 days and I spent a month helping around your house and you're asking me when I'm going to leave? Mm-mm. Great. Good guy. Thank you. No, thank you. Wilkins says, well, I will be gone as soon as I can get married, which will be in 2 days' time. And Jinx is like, oh, you met someone in town. That's great. Blessings to you and her. I can only hope that your future wife will be as devoted as my Melinda. And Wilkins is like, thanks. Oh, I'm sure she will be.
Oh. Yeah.
And Wilkins says, and my bride and I will be happy to leave you in possession of these premises. And Jinx kind of narrows his eyes and he's like, who did you say it was that you were marrying again?
Uh-oh.
And Wilkins says, oh, Melinda Jinks.
Soon to be Melinda Wilkins.
Soon to be. And William Jinks, the ghost, Immediately, he rears back. He lights up with blue sparks and flames and smoke around him. Furious, he lunges forward as though to throttle William. But he has made a promise. If Melinda has been told about the coal field, he cannot haunt Wilkins anymore. So he reaches forward to throttle Wilkins, and Wilkins doesn't even move because he knows that a promise has been struck and that he is safe. Jinks gets a few inches away, and then his hands outstretched towards Wilkins' neck encounter this like wall of white light, and this like force throws him back and through the wall and out and away. And Wilkins says, "Good riddance." And they never saw the ghost of old man Jinks again. The end.
I loved that.
Yeah.
That was very fun. One quick note.
Yeah.
She thinks he is a Confederate soldier.
He didn't say that he was a Confederate soldier. He said that he knew him during the war.
Yeah, but like, why would they be talking if they were on opposite sides of the war? That just didn't happen. So she for sure thinks that, like, she has a story in her head that she thinks she knows him. They're going to go back to his family, and she's going to find out the truth, and that's going to unravel everything that she knows.
I feel like he's been there for a month. I feel like it's come up that he's a Union soldier, and he's probably found a way to explain it away. Like, oh, we were just, like, in together or something like that. I
wonder if he's going to tell her eventually.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like at a certain point, he could be like, by the way, I killed your husband, and she would be like, that's fine.
Like, if you hadn't done it, I would have, my dude.
Like, if some stranger was like, I killed your husband, she would have been like, okay, well, then I kill you. But she's like, he has already proven that, like, she can trust him and that he is a better man, and also that her husband fucking sucked. So
that was really fun.
It was a good one.
I like that a lot.
It was a really good one.
Fantastic, Max.
Thanks.
Do you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to go and think about that for a long time. Patricia Arquette is so good in that. Okay, bye. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay. Today I am pulling a story from Viking Folk and Fairy Tales, edited by J.K. Jackson.
Flame Tree Publishing. We love it.
Flame Tree Publishing. This is the collector's edition, which is just Viking Folk and Fairy Tales, but in a smaller, cuter package. It's beautiful, and I have a couple of these books. They have gold-foiled pages, and they are just very pretty to look at.
Yeah, the collector's editions are hardcover and, like, embossed cover and just gorgeous.
Yeah, they are very, very pretty. So, the story I'm going to tell you is The Dwarf's Banquet. And I'm just going to get into it and let you have your own thoughts instead of giving you my thoughts, as I usually do. Okay? We'll talk about it at the end.
What if I take your thoughts? What then?
Well, then they'll be your thoughts then. Okay.
Yes. Good. Janey approves of stealing.
You can have them.
Finders keepers, says Janey.
I have too many thoughts in this head. If you can take a couple out for me, I'll have room for more. So, his is the first line from The Dwarf's Banquet. There lived in Norway, not far from the city of Trondheim, a powerful man who was blessed with all the goods of fortune. That's the first line.
All the goods?
Yeah, all of them.
Damn.
Name one good that he doesn't have. You can't.
Gouda.
He doesn't have Gouda. Damn.
Gotcha.
This man owned basically all the property in his town. He had giant pastures where numerous herds would feed. And he was just making tons of money off of them. And he had a bunch of servants in his giant, beautiful mansion. Okay? Basically, everybody in this town worked for him. And he had one daughter. Her name was Aslog.
Aslog.
I know. Aslog. In the story, it's Aslog. Talk about it in a second. Aslog was the most beautiful girl anyone had ever seen.
You gotta do it different.
Aslog. Is Aslog better?
No, that's a slug, is what you're saying.
Aslug is better than...
A slog, maybe?
A slog? I hate to say it, but there's an accent on the A in the traditional.
Aslug.
Aslog.
Aslug.
I'm going to call her Aslog, and you're going to have to get over it. Aslog was the most beautiful girl anyone had ever seen. The legend of her beauty had spread far and wide, and men were traveling from all over to ask for her hand in marriage. And I bet it didn't hurt that her dad was rich. Yeah. I bet she could have been a real uggo. And they still would have been offering. Here's a note about the name Aslog. In the story, it is spelled Aslog. When I looked up the meaning, because I was like, that's a weird, it's an interesting name. I want to know what it means. It's actually Aslaug. Aslaug.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's better.
It is better. It comes from Old Norse, and it has the prefix as, A with an accent, SS, which means God, and the suffix laug, Laug, which means like betrothed woman or consecrated or promised.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the site www.sheknows.com.
Who?
She. And they tell you like baby names and stuff, and that name apparently means devoted to God. Just keep that feather in your cap, okay?
Okay.
We'll call her Aslaug.
Do I need to get a cap?
Yeah, if you could really quickly go get a little fedora, like a jaunty one.
Okay.
Your jauntiest fedora.
Barkeep, your jauntiest fedora, please.
Okay. I can't call her Aslaug. That's not how... Well, Aslaug. Okay, we'll do that.
Yep.
So Aslaug is gorgeous and rich and powerful men are coming from all over to court her. They're coming in super confident and flashy, and every single one of them is leaving sad and embarrassed because she is rejecting every single one of them.
Good.
And at first, her father thinks this is hilarious. He's like, good
It is
for
hilarious.
her. He's like, she is holding out for the very best. But then, eventually, the very best shows up to ask for her hand. He's a man who is richer than God, and he has all the power in the world, and she says no to him as well. And at this point, her father immediately loses his patience. He says, quote, "Hitherto I have left you to your free choice, but since I see that you reject all without any distinction, and the very best of your suitors seems not good enough for you, I will keep measures no longer with you. What, shall my family become extinct and my inheritance pass away into the hands of strangers? I will break your stubborn spirit. I give you now till the festival of the great winter night. Make your choice by that time, or prepare to accept him whom I shall fix on." So at first he was like, it was funny in the beginning, but now I'm beginning to think you don't want to get married. And fuck you. And if you don't choose by winter festival, then I'm going to choose. So, not a great dad.
Not the worst. At least he's like, here's a deadline rather than being like, I'm tired of letting you choose. Here's who you're marrying.
I know. So this is going to be a problem for her because her father was wrong. She had made her choice about who she wanted to marry. The problem was that she had fallen in love with a brave, handsome, and noble servant named Orm, who worked in her father's mansion. He didn't have any power or any money to his name, and her father would never approve of that marriage. So, like, she didn't actually have a choice of everyone. She just had to get somebody that he approved of.
Mm-hmm.
So when Aslog was faced with her father's choice, marry someone I would approve of, or I will force you to marry someone I approve of.
Sure.
She ran to Orm and she cried and cried. And after staying up all night discussing it, the two decided their only option was to run away together. They were like, we're never going to be able to be together, and that's not an option for us. So Orm told her that he knew a place where no one would find them, where they could hide until they could leave the country. So one night, soon after that, when everyone was asleep, Orm led a trembling Aslog out of the mansion and up into the mountains. The moon and stars lit their way, and all they had with them were a few items of clothing and some animal skins. It was all they could carry as they walked. Max keeps trying not to laugh at Aslog. I don't know how else to fix this. We're going to hear her name a lot.
I'm trying my hardest.
Should I say it 100 times so that you become
No.
Aslog, 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 Aslog.
Me after coffee.
Gross, Max. All right. So they traveled up and up and up until finally they came to a cave with a low and narrow entrance that was hardly perceptible on the outside, but it opened to a huge cavernous great hall going back deep into the mountain. Okay? And Orm, once they got there, kindled a fire to warm them up, and they laid out their animal skins and sat quietly together, warm and safe from the outside world. Orm knew that they would be safe here for a while because he was the only person in the world who knew about this cave. He had discovered it by accident one day, and he hadn't told anyone about it. So they passed the whole winter in this cave. Orm would go hunting during the day, and Aslog stayed inside the cave, tending to the fire and preparing food. For the entire season, the only thing she saw when she would peek out of the cave was a vast expanse of white snow. And otherwise, she just stayed inside.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like hell. I bet they were boning all the time in that cave. There's only one activity. Spring came, and so did Aslog. Spring came,
Janey.
and the woods turned green. I'm just saying. This isn't fairy tales for kids. They were boning. Spring came, and the woods turned green, and the meadow started to get patchy with colors, and Aslog would leave the cave every once in a while, but not too much, because she was a little afraid to go outside, because she was on the run. And then one day, Orm came running back to her in a panic. He had spotted some of her father's servants, and they had definitely spotted him. He was like, okay, so I saw your dad's servants, and I'm pretty sure they saw me because they have the same eyesight I do, which means we gotta go. They're not fucking blind, and I was just out there.
Orm, why?
He's like, I was wearing my reflective vest so I didn't get hit by a car, and then I remembered none of that exists. Why was I doing that? He told her that they had to leave right then because soon her father's men would surround the cave and find them both and then bring them both back to the mansion. And then he would probably be killed and she would be married off
to whomever.
Yeah, some guy. So the two descended the other side of the mountain and they reached a beach where, luckily for them, there was an unattended boat.
Sure.
Yeah. Without a moment's hesitation, they jumped in and Orm pushed them out into the sea. They had escaped their pursuers.
Grand Theft Nautico.
Woo! The problem was, they were now rowing in the middle of the ocean, and they had no food or water or plan of where they were going. And that was it. It was just the two of them on an empty boat.
Just go to a different place.
They didn't know where they were going. They didn't know. And
just
also,
they
had to get away from anyone who knew them, because they were all probably on the lookout for Aslog.
Yeah, but just follow the coast until you get to another inlet further down.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
That's how boats work.
Days passed. Soon they were starving to death. They weren't following Max's plan.
Oh my god. Don't get in a boat if you don't know where you're going.
They might be on a smaller island. I didn't look up what this place looks like. They might not be able to just go down the coast, and find people who don't know them. They need to go to a different country, is what they were saying.
Well,
and he's
counterpoint,
very well known, this guy, and Aslog, I think, is also fairly well known.
Counterpoint. You row away,
Mm-hmm.
you wait until nightfall. The next morning, you go back to the spot that you pushed off from after they've finished searching there.
Mm-hmm.
You gather up some food and then figure out where the fuck you're going on the beach, and then you go out again.
Well, Max
What about
solved
that?
it. Story over. Your face got legitimately, you're so mad at them.
One of my great fears is being lost at sea. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you get in a boat not knowing where you're going or that you have safety measures in place? Why would you do that?
Well, they're definitely not.
Why would you do that?
They're not willingly doing this, first of all. Second of all, they do seem kind of young, and they're both very afraid. But 3 days passed. They are being tossed about by the waves, and Aslog is losing energy, and she's losing the will to live very quickly. And at this point, I'm like, they're probably fighting all the fucking time. Like, they're not fucking on the boat anymore. Now they're just fucking screaming at each other about, why did we do this? We made a bad choice.
Why did
No
they do
food?
this?
We didn't have to run. Anyway.
Why did they do this?
Oh, they're young.
I'm yelling at both of them.
Then, on the evening of the third day, they saw a large island surrounded by a bunch of smaller islands. Orm immediately steered his boat for it, but just as they were about to reach the shore, a huge and violent wind arose, and the waves rolled higher and higher, and it pushed them back out into the sea, like, really strong. And so he tried again, and then again, but the waves just kept pushing him back, as if the island itself was against them. And frustrated, Orm cried out, "Lord God!" And he crossed himself, and he looked back at poor Aslog, who's, like, dying in the boat, and he's like, "We can see it, and she's gonna die here next to the shore!" And he's just very upset. But as soon as the exclamation, "Lord God," crossed his lips, the wind suddenly died down, the waves calmed, and his boat docked safely on the shore without any further hindrance. And he was like, "Oh, good.
Island with a password.
Thank you." I guessed it.
I also, depending on the size of the island, if the wind is blowing you away from the island, row around the island to the other side, and then the wind will blow you into the island.
It is a large island, but the thing is that
Just try a second thing.
He can't get there. He can't get there.
Can't or won't.
Max, are you okay?
Don't go into a boat if you don't know where you're going.
They are being pursued. So they dock safely. Orm jumps out of the boat, and he ran to find something for Aslog to eat because she is expiring. He found some mussels And soon after eating, she was able to climb out of the boat on her own. The island was overgrown with low shrubs, and it seemed to be completely deserted. But they walked to the middle, and they found a house that was half underground, and the top half was peeking up over the earth, and there was like a door leading down. So like a half in, half out. Hoping to find humans who could help them, they knocked on the door, and they waited kind of nervously, but no one answered. And then they listened a little bit for signs of life, and they didn't hear anything. So they cautiously opened the door and found that no one was inside. But there was a fire in the hearth and a kettle of fish cooking over it, as if waiting for someone to eat. They're like, okay, so somebody is here, but they're not in here. There were beds that were made and ready to be slept in. And for a little bit, they kind of just waited patiently in the house for somebody to come back. But they're also starving, and they're like, maybe they won't mind if we like have a little bit of fish. Grab it. They just start like fucking feasting.
These dumb turds.
So they ate the fish, and once they were full, the exhausted pair climbed into the beds, and they fell fast asleep. And they fully expected to be woken up by the owners of the house that night, right? They were just like, we've been through a whole ordeal. They can wake us up when they get home. They were surprised, however, when they woke up the next morning on their own. No one had come back home. And no one came back the next day either, as if the house had been made ready for their arrival by, quote, some invisible power the day before. So Orm and Aslag spent the summer in the little house happily. Like, genuinely, they're like, this is the best we've ever felt, and this is the nicest place we've ever been. And Aslag like grew up in a mansion. She's like, this is the nicest place I've ever been in. Quote, they were, to be sure, solitary, yet they did not miss mankind. The wild birds' eggs and the fish they caught yielded them provisions in abundance. End quote. They were like, we're alone, but we hate people anyway. This is great.
This is like the thing where it was like, you can get paid 30,000 euros to live in this isolated cottage on an island in Scotland or whatever the fuck. Oh my god.
Sounds great, man. Then autumn came, and Aslag gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. As they were celebrating his birth, suddenly the door opened, and an old woman walked in. And they were like, ah! And as they're staring at her in shock, they're like, who the hell is this? She was wearing a pretty blue dress, and she looked proud but a little strange, which is also how I look.
Same.
Seeing their shock, she told them to not worry about her sudden appearance. She was here now, and that's all that mattered. She's
is that good?
Don't worry about it. Well, this was actually her house. Right? She's like, this is actually my house that you've been staying in, and I just wanted to thank you for being such clean and tidy house guests. You've been great. I like you guys a lot. You guys are adorable. I have been here for this journey.
Ew.
I really liked it. And then she confessed that she wanted to come earlier, but, quote, I had no power to do so till this little heathen was come to the light, and she, like, pointed at the baby. I think it's cute that she called him a little heathen.
Little heathen.
Now that he was here, she could come and go and appear to them as she pleased. Or as they pleased. Whatever. She told them they were welcome to stay here and have all the good fortune and all the happiness the island and house had to offer them. But she had a couple of requests. The first request was they not have the baby christened, or she'd have to leave again. If they didn't fetch a priest to baptize him, they would have good luck always. If they were ever in danger, they would only have to say her name 3 times and she would appear to help them. And then she was like, by the way, my name is Guru, which is just spelled like guru, G-U-R-U. She said that she was from the race of old giants. Her second request was for them to never say the name of, quote, him whom no giant may hear of, which is God, right? Or make the sign of the cross, or put any crosses like above the door or on the walls. She's like, we just can't have any of that in this house, okay? And her last request was that though they could stay in the house for the entire year free of charge, she's like, every single day, you can just live here. I love having you here. Raise your baby, have a family. On Yule evening, however, they had to get the fuck out. Just for that one night. They had to leave. That was the time for her and her people to party. It was the only night of the year they were, quote, permitted to be merry. These are pretty fair rules, I think.
Honestly, yeah.
These are her house rules, and they're staying here for free and having an idyllic little life. She also said, I understand, though, you have nowhere to go, so just telling you to get out of the house is probably not possible, especially with a baby. So she says if you can't leave the house entirely, she requested they at least go up into the loft and remain quiet the whole day long and the whole night long. She said, quote, as you value your lives, do not look down into the room until midnight is past. After that, you may take possession of everything again. That's it. That's her rules. As soon as her little speech was over, Guru vanished, leaving Aslog and Orm to live happily in the house with permission now, knowing that somebody was around that they could talk to and get help from. From that point on, Orm never cast his fishing net without catching fish. He never shot an arrow from his bow that didn't hit its mark. Everything either of them wanted was given to them, and they were living a happy, beautiful, idyllic life, raising their family. And when Christmas came, they cleaned the house as best they could. They kindled a fire in the hearth, and as night came, they climbed up into the loft with their new baby, where they remained quiet and still. And soon it grew dark. What?
I would not trust that baby to be quiet. I would have spent some of that time building, like, a little hut.
You want to do a quiet place?
A little Christmas hut.
I will say, I love that idea. Maybe they have that guy come and build a shed for them.
Yeah.
Shirtless. I will say, nobody seems worried about the baby. And Guru also didn't seem worried about the baby. So, I feel like they're just like, Guru knows there's a baby up here. I don't think it's that nobody can know they're there. I think it's that they don't want them at the party.
I would build a hut.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they should.
Christmas hut.
That's our Christmas hut.
We go there on Christmas. It could be a fun thing.
I think that's adorable. So soon it grew dark. They started to hear the sounds of flying and rustling outside, like swans were flying overhead. There was a hole in the roof above the fireplace, which I assume is the fireplace flue. So Orm lifted the lid and peeked his head out to see what was happening, and he saw wonderful sights. Quote, the little islands were lit up with countless blue lights. So remember, there's like all these little islands surrounding their big island, and they're just like covered in little blue lights now. The lights were moving around, jumping up and down, and eventually they skipped over to the bigger island they were on, and when they reached it, they arranged themselves in a circle around a large stone not far from the shore, a stone Orm knew well. To his surprise, though, he realized now that the large stone was actually in the shape of a gigantic and monstrous man. He was like, oh shit, that looks like a guy. I didn't notice that before.
Oh my god.
Now he realized the blue lights were being carried by dwarfs, quote, whose pale clay-colored faces with their huge noses and red eyes, disfigured too by birds' bills and owls' eyes, were supported by misshapen bodies, end quote. A bunch of little, like, bird people.
That's cute.
I know.
I love that.
I love this entire island, I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, the circle opened, and Guru, who was now gigantic, she's in her, like, full giantess form, she walked up to the big stone man, she threw both of her arms around it, and it began to come to life. As soon as it started to move, the little ones around them began to clap and sing and howl, and it was a terrifying sound, and Orm was like, whoop, time to go back inside. He like, closed the flue, and he and Aslog lay together in the darkness, hardly daring to draw breaths. They heard the procession moving to the house, and soon everyone was piling inside, laughing and chattering. They covered the table with food, clattering plates and shouting in joy over their banquet, and they all, like, feasted and had a good time. They're having a party. And the humans are not invited.
I wish I was invited.
You're not. You're a human.
What if I was invited?
Well, then you could go. When the feasting was over and it was drawing close to midnight, they began to play the fairy music and dance. It just said play fairy music. I don't know why I said the fairy music. As soon as Aslog heard the music, she was overwhelmed by the desire to see what was happening. And Orm was like, no, you stay here. And she told him, quote, let me look or my heart will burst.
Me at any inconvenience.
I need to see or my heart will explode.
I need a treat right now or I'll die.
Yeah, that's Aslog. She took her baby and she hung out as far over the loft as she could while still being unseen. She was still, like, hidden, but she, like, peeked out. And she saw all the creatures below. She stared at them for a long time in wonder, letting the music fill her whole soul. And she's just like, wow, this is fun. Meanwhile, the child in her arms was growing sleepy, and he began to breathe heavily, and his eyelids were fluttering closed, and she, like, without thinking at all, she was doing just what she had grown up doing. Like, this truly was just muscle memory. Aslog made the sign of the cross over his mouth, and she said, Christ bless you, my babe.
Oh, no.
This, I feel like when you hear this, you're like, Aslog, you idiot. But this is something Grandmommy did all the time. Like, no matter who would... She did it to you, too, as we left. She would make the sign of the cross on people's foreheads. She did it to every single one of the babies, all the grandkids, all of her children, sometimes strangers. It was just like my little Filipino grandmother. And genuinely, I love that she did that. But it was a very specifically Grandmommy thing. I would not like it if anyone else did that to me.
Right.
But Grandmommy truly didn't... You could tell it just came from such a pure place and a very innocent place. So this didn't strike me as something that was malicious or even, like, careless. It was just a thing
Yeah, it was
she
just
did.
a reflex.
Yeah. It was almost like looking at your baby sleeping and just being like, God, I love you so much. You know? That's what it seems like. But the instant Aslog had spoken the words, there was a horrible, piercing cry. The creatures began to tumble head over heels out the door, crashing into things and crushing each other as they ran. The lights went out, and in a few moments, everything was completely silent inside. Aslog and Orm didn't come down until morning, and when they did, they saw the table was still set as it had been the night before. All the beautiful silver serving dishes, the copper kettle full of sweet mead, and a golden drinking horn, they were all still there. And there was a stringed instrument close to a dulcimer, quote, which, as people believe, the giantesses used to play on. But it was all just, like, scattered across the floor and across the table, like everyone had left. They looked at everything in amazement, but they didn't touch anything. As they turned around, they saw, sitting at the table, an immense figure, which Orm immediately recognized as the giant whom Guru had embraced on the beach. He was no longer full of life, though. He was cold and hard stone once again. And as they were gazing at him, Guru entered the house still in her giant form, and she was sobbing, and her eyes were red and tears were splashing to the ground, and it took her a long time for her to calm down enough to talk to them. And when she could, she told them that they had ruined her life.
No!
But then she said, quote, I know you have not done this with evil intentions, and therefore I forgive you, though it were a trifle for me to crush the whole house like an eggshell over your heads. She was like, I could fucking smash you, but I won't because I know you didn't mean to do this.
But you shouldn't have done it.
But you ruined my life. She told them that the stone giant was her husband. He was the love of her life, and that because of Aslog, he was now petrified forever. Then she told them her story. I think this is one of the most important Norse stories I'm ever going to tell on this podcast, by the way.
I love it.
Here's her story. For 300 years, she had lived with her father on the island of Kunan, happy and innocent and carefree. That was her childhood, 300 years of just being a maiden. She was the most beautiful among the giant maidens, and heroes came from far and wide to compete for her hand. So much like Aslog, right? It's the same situation. Quote, the sea around that island is still filled with the rocky fragments which they hurled against each other in their combats. So they're all like literally fighting for her hand. Eventually, this giant, his name is Anfind, he won the battle, and they were married, and she fell madly in love with him basically instantly. They were just like soulmates. But she hadn't been married very long at all before, quote, the detestable Odin, end quote, came to her country, overthrew her father, and drove them all out of their home, that she had been there for 300 years. Her father and sisters fled to the mountains, and she never saw them again. Guru and Anfine found this island, and they built a home together, and for a long time they lived in peace and quiet. They took care of all the little creatures on the island, they built this home, and they just were in love and happy. And they thought to themselves that they would probably never be interrupted again. They could just live out the rest of time together. But then she said, quote, destiny, which no one escapes, had determined otherwise. Olaf came from Britain. They called him the Holy, and Anfine instantly found that his voyage would be inauspicious for the giants, end quote. So here's a quick note, and I'm going to talk about him later. Olaf was a ruler in Norway from 1015 to 1030, and he was Scandinavia's first saint. And basically his whole thing was that he went around forcibly converting people to Christianity because he had a dream about it. And he thought that was what he was supposed to do. So he had
Saint
one
stuff.
fucking dream and he made it everyone's problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic saint stuff.
So the giants heard that Olaf was coming and they were like, oh, fuck, he can't be here. He'll fucking get rid of us.
Yeah.
I'll talk about this at the end. So Anfine watched the shores and soon Olaf's ships appeared just like he knew they eventually would. And he blew the sea against the ships as hard as he could, and the waves swelled up like mountains to keep them from docking on the island, so much like when Orm and Aslog tried to come in. But Olaf managed to break through, probably the same way Orm had, and he steered directly for their island. And when the ship was near, Anfine grabbed it with his right hand, and he was about to drag it down to the bottom when Olaf, they called him, quote, the terrible Olaf, stepped forward, crossed his hands over each other, and cried out, stand there as a stone till the last day. And Guru watched as her husband turned to stone on the beach. And then the ship went on unimpeded. It ran directly against the mountain, which it cut through, separating the land into little islands. So Guru continued, saying, quote, ever since my happiness has been annihilated, and lonely and melancholy have I passed my life. On Yule Eve alone can petrified giants receive back their life for the space of 7 hours. if one of their race embraces them and is at the same time willing to sacrifice 100 years of his own life. I'm gonna cry. Okay. So every year, Guru would go down to the shore on Yule Eve and hug her husband. And every year, she grew older and older. Oh, God. I need a tissue.
Okay.
Guru fucking breaks my heart. Because remember, she's an old lady, but she shouldn't be at this point. So every year, she grew older and older, knowing that one day she would embrace her husband and be out of time, and they'd be stone statues together. So she was just counting down every year until she turned to stone too. And she just had this image of her hugging him for the last time and them just being embraced like that forever. And then she said, quote, "Alas, now even this comfort is taken from me. I can never more by any embrace awake him, since he has heard the name which I dare not utter, and never again will he see the light till the dawn of the last day shall bring it." End quote. I know. I'm literally just sitting here crying. I love Guru so much. Also, I wouldn't have forgiven her. Knowing this condoms, I would have fucking crashed that house down. Like eggshells. Guru told them now that she was leaving and that they would never see her again. And she was like, "Keep the house. Keep everything in it. I genuinely don't care. You can have everything. I gift it to you." And she said the only thing that she was going to take with her was her dulcimer, which is her musical instrument that giantesses play. She asked them to make sure no one moved onto the little islands. That was where the, quote, little underground ones lived. Aww. And she had promised to protect them as long as she lived. She was like, no people can live there, okay? And then Guru vanished. The next spring, Orm took the golden horn and silver serving dishes to Drontheim, where no one knew him. He sold them, and he got so much money that he and Aslog were able to go back to her home and rekindle their relationship with her terrible father. The stone giant remained in the house. No human power was able to move it, and the stone was so hard that hammers and axes broke against it, which, like, fucking how dare you? Eventually, a holy man came to the island, and with one single word, he was able to remove the giant back to his former station, which I think is the beach, where he stands to this very day. And the last line of the story is, quote, "The copper kettle, which the underground people left behind them, was preserved as a memorial upon the island, which bears the name of House Island to the present day." End quote. The end.
That's sad.
I know. Okay, but I do think it's very important. So I want to go into some notes. This book does the same thing that S.E. Slasher does, where it doesn't specifically cite each source, which is not like J.K. Jackson at all. So he puts at the beginning a list of sources for like further reading, but that's it. I think that the main reason he does this is because when it comes to Norse mythology and Norse tales and Viking tales, there is a very short list of where those stories actually, where you can find them. So it's like the Poetic Edda, the Prose Edda, all this stuff, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of Neil Gaiman Norse mythology of stuff that he found him in. It's not like J.K. Jackson to do that, though, so I was a little confused. I wonder if that's just the collector's edition.
Maybe.
I don't know. This tale most likely comes from the Prose Edda, which is also called the Younger Edda, Snorri's Edda, or just the Edda. It is an Old Norse textbook written in Iceland, dating back to the early 13th century. It is thought to be mostly compiled by the Icelandic scholar and historian Snorri Sturluson.
We know him.
We know him.
We know him.
He's our friend. He was here the other day. Good guy.
Shout out to Snorri.
Snorri, thank you for coming and being such a good house guest. According to Wikipedia, this is considered the fullest and most detailed source for modern knowledge of Norse mythology, the body of myths of the North Germanic peoples, and draws from a wide variety of sources, including versions of poems that survived into today in a collection known as the Poetic Edda. So it was compiled after the Poetic Edda, and it just has a bunch of old stories from Norse mythology. The reason why I love this story so much, because at first I was like, this might be too sad to tell. It has a sad ending, and it really doesn't have a lot going on in it. But I think it's a very rare example of empathy for giants, which I've never personally read about in any of the other Norse tales. When we talk about, we've talked about this with our whole team troll thing. We talked about this a lot, especially in the beginning. Giants and trolls are constantly being fucked over and annihilated. In Norse mythology, Odin fucking sucks when it comes to giants. They lie to them, they cheat them, they murder them and their families, and they're the good guys.
Yeah. If you are familiar with like auxiliary Norse myths, especially like through the MCU and stuff like that, a lot of times you'll hear like Jotun, which is the Norse word for giants effectively, and a lot of times it's the ice giants, which is what Loki's half ice giant in the MCU.
Yeah.
And they're like the bad guys.
Yeah.
Which is fundamentally not the case.
It's not the case, except that even in the Poetic Edda, they are called the bad guys while they're being victimized by the gods.
Yeah, the god, like Thor will go to someone's house and murder them, and then their family will be like, well, now we're going to kill you. And he's like, that's not fair. It's like, well.
And Thor's the giant killer. Though he goes out of his way to murder giants who are doing nothing. You know, so it's really... So anyway, so just...
Yeah.
This story stood out so much because we're hearing about a giant who could have gotten revenge, and she was like, I'm not even gonna fucking do that because I know you didn't do this on purpose. But you broke my heart, and I can never recover from this. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So we've said this from the beginning, that giants and trolls are thinly veiled allegories for colonization and displacement and genocide against indigenous people or different religions, or crimes against people who just didn't want to convert to Christianity and abandon their traditional practices. Like that's what the giants represented.
Yeah.
And since
the pagans, quote unquote.
The pagans. And since Christianity went through all of like Scandinavia, that's why we don't have as many folk tales from this period of time. And that's why we lost almost every single story about the Norse goddesses. There were a bunch of them. We don't have them anymore because of Christianity.
Yep.
So because of that, this story really fucking meant a lot to me by the time I like actually got to sit and, you know, think about it. And speaking of Christianity, let's go to a quick story of Olaf, the person in the tale who turned Guru's husband into a stone in the first place. So here's the quick rundown about Olaf. He was on basically a crusade to forcibly convert everybody into Christians. And here's his big story about how he became a saint. Quote, Olaf continued forcing the inland Norwegians to convert until Dala Godbrand called up a large force of farmers to oppose the king and proposed this plan of action. Quote, if we bear Thor out from our temple, like the statue, where he stands here on this farm and has always helped us, and if he sees Olaf and his men, they will melt away and he and his men become as nothing. So they were like, this guy is coming here, Thor is gonna fucking get him. So they like grab the statue and they put it out.
Really quickly? Godbrand!
Godbrand's the worst character in Castlevania. Godbrand literally meant nothing.
Yeah, he sucks. But
Godbrand.
Godbrand.
Now you know where it comes from. It's Norse. Go watch Castlevania. So when Olaf arrived,
my life.
So when Olaf finally arrived to this little farming community, just before sunrise the next day, the farmers brought out the statue of Thor to meet him. And they were like, here's our god. Show us your god. Like, if your god is so powerful, fucking bring him out. And Olaf instructed one of his followers that was with him to strike the statue with a club as soon as the farmers looked away. Yeah, keep that in mind. Then he told the farmers to look to the east to see the true god, and they all looked at the same time as he was pointing, and they saw the sun rising. And as they were looking away, the follower hit the statue with the club, and it fell to pieces. And then adders and other snakes and mice as big as cats began to pour out of it, and the terrified farmers started to run. But Olaf stopped them, telling them that they could either battle him and his men right now or convert to Christianity, and they all converted. So what do you think actually happened? Do you have because I have a very solid theory.
My first thought, I mean, the actual text of the story is that Olaf doesn't believe in God.
Why?
Because he was like, we have to trick them into believing that God is real by hitting the statue and destroying it and being like, God did that. Like,
yeah, I think I don't know if they saw the guy. Here's what I can't say or say not. I can't say one way or another if they saw the man hit the statue. What they're running from is the snakes. So I don't have to say this on this podcast to this audience who's been listening to us for this amount of time. And I hopefully don't have to say this in the time of the internet and where there's a basic knowledge of close-up magic. But Olaf definitely had them all look over there, and then he dumped a bunch of snakes out.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like,
he had a bag of snakes.
That's it. He had a bag of snakes. He was like, look over there. And then he dumped out a bag of snakes.
That's not even close-up magic. That's just prop work.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And it was a trick. It really was a trick. And Max's, and I think that it's to me, it's a very fair thing to say. He doesn't really believe in God. If
he
that's
just believes in
something,
conquest.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very annoying. But yeah, that's Olaf. And I love that this is the reason why we don't have Norse tales is because Christians went through and burned all of them. That's real. They burned all of the literature, and there's so little history of folktales left from this part of the world. And this one story is here where there's a giantess saying, Olaf was going to come and kill us, and we tried our best, and he killed us anyway. And I'm like, fuck, that one survived?
Goddamn.
It is such an explicit indictment of what was happening to people at that time. And it's the only one I've ever found that has that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, the villain of that story is Christian imperialism.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really cool one.
I know.
like that a lot.
And I did. It's just another one where I cried my eyes out. I cry at the giants and the trolls. The only ones I cry at, honestly, are the Scandinavian ones. I don't know what it is. They fucking get me.
Yeah, they're always like, I don't know how else to explain this, but the Scandinavian stories are always like quiet. They're not like big and cinematic or anything. It's just like, oh, here is something real and true about humans and about living things that just breaks your heart.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, look, I cried at the Changelings, which is the two little girls that were switched at birth. And when they found their real moms again, I cried at that because I was like, God, it's these moms who, it was the dad's fault that this happened and nobody should have gone through this. I cried at Little Princess Cottongrass because it's just the story of a child going missing and you not knowing what's happening to her or where she went. And I cried my eyes out at this one because fucking Guru deserved better.
Yeah.
Let her live.
Yeah. We tell a lot of stories where it's like, oh, there's a magic hat and the king wants a daughter. And he tells someone to get the hat. Like, it's a lot of stuff where the stakes are just what you are, the plot itself. And I think the Scandinavian ones are really good at maintaining the tension of story without resorting to, like, just being like, you have to care about this because you're hearing the story now. It's like a very human kind of storytelling.
It's also, what I like about this is that Aslog and Orm are the main characters, right? We start out following them, and they are our protagonists. We're like, wow, this is going to be a story about them finding a way to be together. And instead, we get a story about them unintentionally causing harm by being in a place where they don't belong. Where it's like, yeah, you came from someplace else, you came from privilege, you had all this stuff, you went to somebody else's home, and just by the sheer act of being there, you ruined their lives where they were living peacefully. And now they have to leave because you went there. And that rings true across the world with Indigenous people everywhere. You know?
It's a very anti-colonialist message.
And the Vikings were not... the Vikings certainly did a lot of colonizing as well.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed that story. So
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Guys, let us know what you thought about these two tales by texting us in the link in the show notes, by going to our Instagram or a TikTok and leaving comments or DMing us, by emailing us at sortofthestory@gmail.com, by joining the Discord, by joining the Patreon. There's lots of ways you can get in touch with us. We want to hear your thoughts. Leave us a review, a 5-star review if you can, on Apple Podcasts, and have a good fucking life.
Bye forever.
Until 2 weeks when we come in with episode 139. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Keeping it real.
We are keeping it real. I am like feeling fucking chill. I feel like I smoked weed this morning. I didn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't. I just kind of had a normal morning. I kind of woke up early though. I think it like set me on the path to like just get shit done.
That must be nice.
Yeah. It doesn't happen a lot.
No.
In fact, never. It happens never.
I'm going to try and dedicate myself to actually waking up when I wake up more, because I'm realizing that I actually get more tired the longer I stay in bed. Which is stupid and bad.
I realized, and this is something very simple that when you hear me say it out loud, you're gonna roll your eyes. But I've told you, Max, before that,
Max.
and also probably the podcast, maybe you guys do. I've told you guys that I don't really nap. When I'm like, I'm going to go lay down, I will lay in my bed and I'll scroll on my phone for 30 minutes. And then I'm like, I feel refreshed. And then I'll get up and do stuff, right? I very rarely actually sleep during the day. And I realized the other night, I was like going to sleep and then I was on my phone because I was like set my alarm, you know, like I'm already in bed. I set my alarm. While I'm setting my alarm, I'll check Instagram real quick. I'll do some stuff. I'll send out some texts. I'll watch some videos. And then like 2 hours has gone by and I'm still up scrolling on my phone because it all kind of adds up. And I realized, and then I'm not tired anymore because I've done my nap.
Yeah.
my brain is like, oh, we've done it. And now we can get up. And I'm like, I hate this. I'm not tired at all. And I shouldn't have to go to sleep. And so I have a new rule for myself starting the school year that I'm not allowed to do that. Like, I can't even set my alarm when I get into bed. Like, I can't hold my phone in bed anymore. Like, I set my alarm before I physically lay down, and then I don't pick my phone back up. And that is helping a whole lot. Because my brain isn't tricked into thinking that we already did our nap. Anyway, that's my new thing. It's kind of working. I'm not going to lie.
I have the opposite where if I have to just lay in bed and not do anything, I will never fall asleep. So I have to distract myself by like scrolling through Instagram or doing a crossword puzzle or something like that. And then eventually I will go to sleep and then I'll wake up in the morning halfway finished with a crossword puzzle and the half of it will just be like t t t t t t t t t t t because my thumb was moving while I was sleeping. I gotta trick myself. I gotta distract myself so that sleep can sneak up on me.
Exact opposite for me. My brain's like, you've already established this is nap time. What are we doing?
Yeah, couldn't be me.
Well, we're different.
We're different.
But we like each other.
Wow.
Where's our TV show?
You know,